Kamara Namaskar. This is International Master and FIDE Senior Trainer Sekhar Sahu welcomes you on behalf of Sports Authority of Gujarat and Gujarat State Chess Association to this intermediate training session. So today I am going to start a new topic. Focus on the opening modern Benoni. Please note carefully that this can be a fantastic report pair for an attacking player. And if you want to adapt for d4, Benoni is a good alternative because opponent cannot prepare such strong sharp lines in same round. Benko Benoni go together well and the move order is almost same from the beginning. Benko is more scientific and safe, whereas Benoni is objectively very sharp and it is very volatile. It can come from various move orders. Modern Benoni, there are two types of Benoni, old Benoni and modern Benoni. You know, old Benoni, it is passive d4, knight f6, c4, c5, d, d5, e5. This is quite passive because the position black bishop remains bad and there is no file. And after the move knight c3, d6, e4, white has a better game because the cram position of black and there is no counterplay easily available. So it is not good. And also if black tries to improve other way like c5 directly, it is even worse. Now here here he can play knight f6. Now white did not play c4. Botvinnik's suggestion, and after this e4 white gets clearly better. White gets better game. Or maybe you can play g6 also, it doesn't matter. G6, now e4, d6, and d2, bg7. Now knight f3, white gets a good game. So after castle a4 is good, no, not along b5. Then he can castle nd2, clear plus. So modern Benoni, the point is here. First I will go to the discussion of some important games. Now d4, knight f6, c4, c5. Now already I have discussed Benko Gambit in my earlier lecture, some maybe about week back or maybe 2 weeks back. I discussed Benko Gambit. So if you add Benoni in the same move order, it will be very good. Now for example, now the plan is not the close old Benoni but e6. Knight c3, pawn takes, now d6. So this is the called modern Benoni. Now you can see that black has got majority on the queen side, and white has majority on the king side. White has got king side majority. That means white can play on king side and black can play on queen side. But it is not so. Sometimes black plays on the king side also. Most of the time black plays king side. The position, the piece position is cramped for black. Black has not many maneuvering room. Black has a weakness. Black has this weakness. Black has this weakness. So black has weak points and the good bishop also not having any maneuvering room. For example, now the pawn takes away the square. Now pawn will take away this square. So that means if you have to come to either to g4 or play b6 and bishop a6. So there is lot of cramp effect on the black position. However, despite that, lot of attacking players and grandmasters like Mikhail Tal and many followers of Tal. The credit goes to Mikhail Tal who brought it to top international circle. Then Velimirovic Then Bobby Fischer played. Then Spassky played, and Tapalo played. Siro played. So many means players with sharp style. It suits them. Now, one thing that Benoni is a very dangerous weapon against comparatively weaker rated players because there are a lot of tactical nuance. Not traps. Please note, not traps. Normal way. Black plays normal way, and it is very likely that white will fall into one of the tactical shots. So I am going to discuss various games and strategy of the both side. And first, I will so discuss for black. First, I will discuss how to play modern Benoni with black. Then I will go to white side. It may take me 2 days because modern Benoni is ultra sharp, similar to Sicilian against E4. But in E4, Sicilian defense, there is no technical problem. Here, black faces lot of technical problem, especially the D6 backward pawn and the bad bishop. But the bad bishop becomes very dangerous on the long diagonal. For example, there are various moves E4, G6. Now knight F3, bishop G7. Now the bishop position is very powerful. This is very important to keep a note. And strategically, black will try for an expansion on queen side, and white's main plan will be revolving on E5 break. This is important to know the strategic final points. Now, for example, there are a lot of traps available. For example, here you can play knight F3. Now G6, bishop F4. Now bishop G7. Now queen check. Now there is a problem. You cannot play queen D7. And if you play ND7, the pawn will fall. And if you play bishop D7, it looks annoying. Now B7 and D6 both are attacked. Black will solve all the problem. I will show you how black will cope up with this kind of problems. Then black may play also bishop G5. Here black may play also bishop C5, giving the trouble that knight can come here. Now suppose you play, I will give a queen check. Now you come here. Now queen coming to b3, again giving some trouble. So there are move like bishop g5, move like bishop f4, and there is also a knight tour variation. I mean, this is knight here, knight f3, g6, then knight tour variation. This is also one possibility. So the plan is to heading for the weakness. The knight will come, the bishop will come, and this knight will come. Like that, this is one of the strategic point that black must be very careful. So there are some other maneuver like on this point, Taimano variation. Now here let us say e6 and c3, take. Now d6, e4, now g6, f4, f4. So this is called Mikhanas variation or Taimano variation. It is really very dangerous. You cannot allow the e5 move. Black cannot allow the e5 move. So suppose you play, let us say you go like this. Idea, if you play e5, I will play ng4 and attack 3 times. But the check comes. Now if you play the mechanical bishop d7, e5 is just terrible. It is very bad. Knight g4 cannot come. And here it is a very badly placed piece. After knight f3, g4 is threatened. So, and this is bad. So that means bishop d7 bad. Also you play nd7, still this will lose. Same idea. Same idea, e5. So here bb5 check is not a very serious thing. You can play knight of d7. There is no threat of e5 now. But then black must play carefully because he has retreated and now white should play a4. Mechanical knight f3, then he gets an easy game a3, bishop comes means b5. Very easy. So instead of knight f3, you must play now a4. So that now a4 is correct move. So that to meet a6, I will return to bishop to e2 or d2, whatever. No b5 is coming. So these are some move orders I will discuss and the problems in the variation. First, I would like to show you model games. Model games. I have selected some model games. Where is this? Okay, first I will go to Gurgen dice. Let me go year wise. Gurgen dice. Or maybe Auerbach. Auerbach. Mikhail Tal was coming up very fast in the international area. Very fast. The meteoric rise. Unknown player coming to suddenly to USSR champion, then going to candidate, qualifying interzonal, then goes to match win one after another, meeting both winning non-stop. His action was non-stop, and he beat the fastest coming and the youngest grandmaster of the world, Fischer, 4 times, 4-0 in the candidates. Now let us have a look the game Auerbach, very solid player. He was very good with theory, very good in end game. He was former USSR champion, former Russian champion. Very good with opening theory, very good in end game, positional play, and he adopts modern Benoni. Let's have a look. The point of this order is that I told you that immediately if you play, then he has a choice of Taimano variation. Now e6 and c3, take. Now d6, e4. Now g6, f4. This is a very sharp line. Also, there is f3. I mean, transposing to a semis type of position. This is now bishop e3, queen d2, long castle, semis, or bg5, queen d2. So, what black wants that you commit now with a knight f3. Knight f3. Then you can't play Taimano or that f3 line. And after the move e6, he cannot. If he plays the Nimzo Indian was very popular. You don't want to avoid. You want to avoid Nimzo Indian. You play. Then I will play Benoni. Benoni. And this I have discussed. This gambit I have discussed. Bullmanfeld gambit. I think you please go back on the and search. I don't remember the episode. I have discussed Blumenfeld gambit. This is very good compensation. Very good compensation. Very active play for Black. Alekhine started and it is lot of followers. So this is also a possibility. And also you can play pawn into pawn, and you white does not have the Taimano variation f4, e4 or f3. So this is the difference. Basically, many players play in this order so that white cannot play the very sharp lines. So the game Auerbach played. So here he played pawn to e4, main line. There are side lines I will discuss. Now there are many players they play h3 here. The reason is now they do not like knight f3 because sometimes the bishop comes and takes it. Why bishop? If you see logically, a player should not give the bishop for the knight. But the point knight is watching the squares. I want to take absolute control of the diagonal. So a knight ahem hai. This is important. So black wants to come and take it. But this is wrong timing. The point is now immediate bishop is bad. Why it is bad? Because of the move queen check. You have problem. You cannot play queen d7, then bishop I. And if you play knight coming there, there is a problem I think, because I think I guess knight e5, knight c4 will be the problem. Knight coming there. What is the problem here? Problem here. No, here. No, not this. On this one, knight here. Bishop g4 is bad because queen a4 check. Now queen d7 cannot come. And now if you play nd7, so he will play knight. And suddenly this is in trouble. This is the problem of early bishop g4, queen a4 check comes. And if you retreat, then you have not achieved any developing. And queen b3, there is a threat here. And he is preparing to knight coming there, or then he will play knight and knight to this point, because you have to fiance to one castle. So these are the typical problems that he faces if you play early bishop g4. That means here bishop g4 is not correct. So bishop, no, he plays here bishop to g7. Did I overwrite it? d2. So he is avoiding that knight f3. Now castle. So now what black wants, that white should stop, and it is wasting a time in opening. A pawn, too many pawn moves in opening is not correct. But he is stopping bishop g4. Where the bishop is going, you cannot go to this point, this point, this point. And now if you play s3, where the bishop is being developed, that means you have to play b6 and then bishop a6, which is losing lot of time. So black already has a problem, a backward pawn, and now losing lot of time. So let me show some model games, then I will discuss. That means here bishop g4 is not correct here. So not the best move. So Tal played castle, castle. A move very active. Rook to e, threatening the center pawn. Now this is a useful move. You white should not give like this. This is bad because this is losing one move also. The bishop has made two moves, and now the bishops are powerful. File this diagonal, okay, and the pressure on center. Any moment I will move like this. You can't play. You cannot play d e5 at the moment. So this is giving sufficient counterplay, and black's game is preferable. So you should not take that. And moving the pawn to a3 is not correct. Why? Because suppose you play a3. Now I will play knight c7. Now I am giving a threat. I am giving a threat. Knight into pawn, knight e4, or bishop into knight into and winning. So once again, that means you are white is wasting time. He is dancing to the tune of black, which is not correct. A3, A4. So this is again anyway I will play some rook move with the idea A6, B5. So you can't stop that. So this is the problem white is facing if you play A3. So he played bishop. So knight. Now you have to support the. Now this is a normal move. Now black can prepare to play bishop g4, knight h5, all these things. But all is very strange and a typical style. So he played knight into pawn. Benoni pairs must look for such shots. Double edge positions comes. Okay, let me show the model games and I will discuss the strategy. And then I will take you to theory at the end. So knight into. Now you need to defend. How are you going to defend the knight? Bishop d3 is not possible. So you have got knight d2, bishop d3. You will simply take the piece and e4. That means knight d2. Now he comes up with knight into pawn. So the point is now if you go back, there is a problem. That you see rook is against the bishop. Now I think I guess bishop h6 is white is better. Black is better. Black is better. Because now the simple threat is bishop coming into d2. So you need more protection. So how are you going to defend that? That means you need to play f4. What else? Now the square is weak. Once again, I will come up with threats. I will come up with threats. This is giving a hard time. So these are the problems. And other than that, he can also play bishop into knight. No, I think one can play bishop into knight and pawn f5. Here bishop h6 looks good to me. Or you can even bishop into knight, knight into f5. Anything wrong with that? I think I think this is also possible. This is also a possibility. So you can see the problem are coming. No, I think this is not good. Bishop is coming. So I should avoid bishop c4 is coming. Maybe here I should not play bishop into. Maybe bishop h6 is correct. Bishop h6 is correct. Okay. So here in the game, Auerbach played bishop takes pawn. Now there are so many pieces. Now this is hinges, This is, and the knight is pinned. The rook is also a target. So simply Tal played this. Now d6 bishop is under attack, and e4 there are three attacks, and after knight into knight, guaranteed winning material because queen attack, bishop attack. So he played this, take queen into, and one extra pawn. The point is not only an extra pawn, a positional advantage. Bishop takes pawn is bad, rb8 and rb2. Bishop takes pawn, the rook will land on b2. This is bad. So this turned out to a very strong position. Now simply rook and plus minus plus. That means you can see in that USSR championship, Mikhail Tal won the 1957 Russian championship for the first time. He was only 19 plus, running 20. He won the USSR championship. Then he won the USSR championship again in 1958. Again in 1958. Repetition, which is normally it is very difficult. Winning the world championship was easier than winning Russian championship twice because there are so many world champions in Russia. Great in form. So this position he managed to beat. Now it is a technical thing. Now simply start. Opponent has white square bishop. Put your pieces in black squares. Nobody told all this. It comes to tell automatically. Automatically. Plus f2 under attack. Now he is threatening a check on c6. Series of force winning. Outplayed. So it is a model game. You can see the complication starting from knight e4. He was on the saddle. There is that move knight e4 king. So after the move, unexpected shots came. Suddenly this knight and now knight comes and knight e4. Please note such things comes in modern Benoni. Now I will show some more games of Tal. They are theoretically this has lost importance. Please note now you will not get such games in modern theory because the move order everything is correct nowadays. However, it is better to know. Now let me show a game of Gurgendais. Bhukti Gurgendais was a sharp player, very good in end game, very good in attack. In the USSR Championship 1957. Okay, very normal. Now you have got various moves. Rook e8, you can come and attack on the center. You can play knight s6. You can play knight s6 with the idea to come knight c7 and then start action. This is one plan. Okay. Another plan is to play rook e8. Other plan, yeah, rook e8 or bishop g4, rook e8, threat. Now knight a6. So he's preparing to play now, threatening to play b5. So a4. You have to stop, because if black is allowed to expand, then he will have an advantage. Not only in end game, that push the knight from c3, b5, b4. So you have to stop. Now this is bad. This sort of moves are bad because backward pawn. The pawn is backward and the knight will come. The bishop will come here maybe, or queen will come here and the knight will enter. It's very dangerous. Going for the heading for the big square. So you should not play in this model, and maybe you play b6. So that next move I will play a6, not allowing the fixer. And then rook b8 and bishop d7 or b5 will come. So knight. The complication started. Now one peculiarity of modern Benoni, sudden attack comes. Hello, Go Birabhadra Singh, Devars, Ramakrishna. Dutch is Ramakrishna. Dutch gives attacking chances, but unfortunately, the modern theory gives lot of problem for Dutch players. I have discussed it in my earlier lecture, and anyway, I will show sometime. We go on to Nasdaq for Benko Benoni. Okay, I see do Benko Benoni. Mustal Parik. Hello, Tanmay Azmera, Mukund Agarwal, Tirth Saha, Setu Nandi, Kesav Saha, Suresh Bhai Chavda, good morning, Om Desai, and Knight player. Okay, so here now you can see sudden attack comes. If you surrender the bishop into knight, white back is clearly better. Now you expect knight will come back, or knight will come back, or knight will come back, but Tal sacrificed knight into. These are the typical things. A typical Benoni players will find this very quickly. The total coup on dark squares. All the dark squares on the king side are now in great danger. You have to accept it. You cannot decline that. Otherwise, I am going to destroy the castle. There will be no pawns. So, check. Okay, king to g1, then bishop check is killing. Suppose you play king g1. No, rook is fine. So you have to play this one first. Mate threat. There is a mate threat. The only move knight. There is no way, no other way to stop that knight. Only. Now the miserable position. Now you can play bishop takes pawn. It is not dangerous. You will not accept. But this is deadly. Idea. If you take mate in one, Alekhine type. Alekhine used to play such kind of combination in olden days. So suddenly there is a anyway mate threat. You cannot take bishop into pawn is a mate, and there is also mate. So the position is practically lost already. Pawn down, very bad king. But let us see the finish. Now, idea I want to see, for example, when you give a check, the king is getting shelter on the E line. Once the E file is clear, then it will get mated quickly. A pawn takes pawn, bishop takes pawn will come. Now you take, this is finishing. Bishop takes pawn. You cannot take it mate. And now if you go somewhere, bishop check will come. It will be a disaster. So you cannot accept that. Over. He must lose material. He must lose material. The threat is simple. The threat is bishop into check, and if you play queen into e4 is falling, and if you play knight into queen g1 is coming. So I think that he should resign. Continued bishop f3. No idea. Bringing the other rook. The reserve is coming. winning. Now this is a pin. This is a pin. You want to hit here 2-3 times. Over. Whatever you play, it is lost. Now if you play queen into, the bishop support is gone. After queen into this check, this is falling. Lost. So the whole point is that unexpected shots comes in Benoni. Like I showed you, knight into e4 suddenly. So I showed you Tal, not only Tal, many modern players also. I will show you some miniature games. This is actually an introduction to, this session is pure introduction to Benoni. I am not showing theory and I will not show some systems. So after the move, unexpected move, knight into f2 suddenly got finished. Now here, this is a self goal. But even if you play correct moves, still black is good. Now, for example, you may play knight f3, stopping some check queen entry, all this thing, stopping queen entry. But even then, now I think still he will get a good game. What can I do here now? What can I do? What can I do here? Maybe I can play bishop here. This looks good to me. Now, now knight into, pawn into, bishop, knight has to move where? Then you allow me queen, you have to surrender your bishop. Where the knight is going? Giving anyway problems, I think. Giving anyway problems. So this is a problem. Maybe I will find better move now. If you go back, knight f6 can come also. Hmm? You can play knight f6 also. Now this b4 square, I want to land the knight here. So knight f6 also is good. So this is whole thing. A player should be very careful about such kind of move. S3 sudden game finishes. Okay. Okay. Next. Donor. Jan Donor was a grandmaster from Holland. He was an established player, though he was not from the very top, but was a well-known grandmaster. So b5 has to stop. Now the main problem is cram position of the black pieces. Please note, in modern Benoni, this one, the majority remains with black, white's majority on king's side. But if this is a very important point, please note that strategically it is very important what I am talking. If the minor pieces are exchanged, black stands better. For example, now after the move here, now you remove. Suppose let us remove this 1, 2, 3 for 1, 2, black stands better. Or it doesn't matter, this bishop, whichever one bishop. So if these pieces are exchanged, then maneuvering room is good for black. And white's kingside attack is not there. In the absence of the minor pieces, white cannot attack on the king side. Black's queenside play and heavy pieces gives him better opportunity. Note this point. The game opens more and more. Black gets better and better. So Black will look forward for exchanging the bishop and knight at right time at right place. So he comes bishop. So logic, it looks very normal. You cannot retreat. You cannot retreat. Then rook e8 will come. So if you go backward, black will get lot of tempo. So he plays s3. Now outwardly it looks all right. You will collect double bishop, but actually strategically black is better. As I told you, just exchange of minor pieces helps black. Now another pair of minor pieces will be exchanged. The knight will come to e5. You have to concede one of the bishop. Now you cannot play. These are bad moves. I want to exchange, but not the seamless exchange. This is bad. This is bad because this is bad. The pass pawn. This is not good. White will stand better. Sooner or later, White will next play a5, and then he will bring the knight to this point. Okay, maybe he can go knight like this or this, but don't be in a hurry. He can play rook coming here. Now after that, rook can come here, rook can come here, on the backward pawn, this square. All these are problems. All these are problems. So this sort of capture you should avoid. So here he plays in the game queen. Idea, I am not allowing all the time. Black must watch, prevent this break. White's idea is to prevent, prepare this. You should watch. So, and if you play like this is not good. Anyway, this I have got 1, 2, even 3 to come here, and I will not care. I will start. So you cannot prevent that break. Now there will be a target here. Bishop will be there. Rook will be there. So f5 is not a great move now. So here he plays queen e2. Pressure on the against that. Rook against queen is a normal strategy. I think White did not sense the danger. White did not sense the danger. He's threatening now d3, c4. Now if you play b3 like this, suppose you play, then the knight is having problem. The knight will have problem. Okay. I think how I can punish here. Maybe here. What can I do? How will I punish? I guess this is okay. This should come. Now you attack. Now rook c1 will come. Okay. Now bishop h6. Sorry. Bishop h6 will come, or bishop h6. No, not bishop h6. Maybe bishop should come here. Idea, I want to exchange and seize the knight f4 square. And if you take, a tempo is coming. Idea knight f4, a tempo is coming. I want to eliminate. So getting counterplay anyway. Anyway, I will get counterplay. Now the bishop cannot move. Knight will come. c4 will come. So b3 is not a good idea. So here c4, and if you play, then I have got sufficient counterplay. c4, bishop goes back, and then maybe queen coming to a5 and then b5. No, I can't do that. I can't do that. Maybe queen coming to c5 and then pawn b5. Idea pawn b5 next. This looks good to me. Okay, so here play he played in the game bishop c, topping the idea. Very well played. Now I will capture with bishop takes, rook takes will come. Okay, other move, bishop into, rook into, and now if you, this is a bad position because there is no black square. If you open up the, if after this move, all the squares will have a problem. You will have a problem on the squares. For example, what can I do? Just come back. This should be enough. This should be enough. Maybe rook e7. Maybe rook e7. Yeah, maybe this one. So that I bring the other rook. This should be giving problem. So you cannot open the dark squares. After the move, this is bad. And in the game, he played in the game f4. Now the position is very loose. I think black is better already. The bishop d4 is coming. Now b2 problem. Remember what I said. Exchange of pieces will help black. Now b2 problem, b2 defend. So what should black do now? Sir, what is your rating? I will tell you, knight player, in my prime, my rating, if I was in my prime today, I would have been 25-50. I would have been like exact 25-50. If you push me back to my prime, but my rating has fallen because generously I gave rating. As an organizer for 10 years, I could not leave my love for the game. I kept on playing and taking the burden of organization and generously donated rating. Okay, never mind. So this is a very good position. Now, what should black do now? Black to play. Somebody should support. Tell what move. Welcome Adi Jain. Okay. Queen b4. Exchanging is bad. This is a bad position. Now you have to go. That is bad. The rook will enter. The knight will enter. Just bad. So this is a bad pieces. There are all bad pieces attached to. This is bad. This is bad. This is good file. The knight. This is minus plus. So you cannot exchange queen. The board is getting more clear, more exchanges, more better for black. The knight c4 coming, queen c5 coming, ideal position. 2-1 majority, threat, threat, big square, over. Not only two extra pawn, one pawn will fall, but this pawn will collect a piece. Just keep pushing. Now three attack on the pawn. Lost. Now there are three attacks on the pawn. For example, after the move, if you play queen, he will play rook into pawn. Now, temporarily giving a rook. Black will come out extra piece. Queen takes queen, knight takes, and a rook into pawn puts. Just over. It's all over. Now there is a threat also. And now if you play knight takes and pawn queen exchange up, this is terrible. If you move pawn queens, then you will be rook up. So you can see the Benoni player, but please note the beginning I told you this position. If the minor pieces are exchanged, black is very good. Heavy pieces, black stands better. The board becomes more open, then black gets more opportunity. Okay, only you have to watch this weak point. That is not a serious problem. So let me show you some more model game. I would say this is also good. Bertok Tal. Bertok Tal. So these are two. Actually, if want to play ND2, you should play on the seventh move itself. This is not good. Very late stage. The point, every exchange, black stands better. Knight on knight, bishop takes e5 with lot of threats coming. So he has to come. Now knight. Idea that you want to prepare for the b5 break. Now a4 has to be played. You need to play stop black's b5. Anyway, is preparing for b5. I told you some time back that even a5, b5 will come, and now black has counterplay. On b2 pawn, b4 square, long diagonal. It's a blunder. But anyway, it is a bad thing. The position is anyway bad. Suppose you retreat, then the knight will come. Then idea knight d4 and taking is bad. The position rook into b2 will come. Queen into rook will come. So you cannot. There are a lot of hanging pieces. This is hanging, this is hanging, this is a target. So he came blunder bishop into. So these are the typical shots comes. Game over. So we get a Benoni, a Taimano variation. Actually, this is a standard main line here. This is the main line. Okay, somebody plays knight f3. I don't think it is correct. Then you should not open the position so much. If you want to castle, don't weaken. So this is very easy now. Now you getting into passive position. You have already problems. Now queen c2, you may play knight into pawn. On queen c2, yeah, knight into pawn is possible. This is possible. Because anyway, I will put lot of pressure. Now after knight d2, another pressure. You cannot come. I take and the pawn f5. So these are the typical problems in Benoni. You have to now you have to play now e5. If I attack three times, the whole thing is action is premature without coordination, without castle. White has been forced to enter like that. The whole idea when you play f4 here, then bishop g7, you have to give the check. Otherwise, don't play f4. And after nf d7, this is a standard line. Now you will play f4. The game will continue. So this sort of moves gives a very easy game. Easy game. One extra pawn for black. Now the discover attack. Better be careful. Gone. कुछ नहीं होगा. Black will return. He can gain a pawn or a piece, but material down is guaranteed. Forced. हो गया काम. कुछ नहीं. No backrank. Nothing. The point is, if you immediately take rook into, if you play rook into here directly, there are problems. There will be problems. So I think rook check. There is a problem I was seeing. Rook f3. He played bd4 check, but there is some problem I was expecting. What is how he is getting it? Maybe rook check should be all right. Yeah, maybe this also is falling. This is three pieces you will lose. But anyway, what he played is a very safe game. What he played bishop check, and now there is nothing. No problem. Over. Now three he will get material advantage. Knight check and winning. So these are the typical Benoni problems, very sharp. You have to be very careful. I tell you another one. I'll show you some of Fisher's games. I'll come back to all these Fisher's games. Adelaide counter gambit. I do not know what is Adelaide counter gambit. I do not know what is Adelaide gambit. Welcome Rohan Asidani. Hello NV. Parvat Thakkar. What is Adelaide gambit? I don't know. Classical Dutch, and I think it is safer than Benoni. No, there is a lot of problem in Dutch, Ramakrishna. I will discuss. I cannot interrupt the Benoni class. I will discuss definitely. I will show the problem for Dutch players. Now, instead of pawn into, we enter normal Benoni. After pawn into, I will play d6, g6 and all. But let us say he plays now queen into. Bad move. Now, tempo. The idea, I want to play this. Idea, I want to play this. Problem has started. So, queen d5, I'm just keeping one game. It is bad. Queen e7. Bad moves. Now, he wants to exchange queen and thinks it is a draw. Forced. Forced to exchange queen. How many tempo you will How many tempo you will give? See, if you castle, he will also castle. So this is very annoying. Now you castle, a2 pawn will fall. d5 is threat now. minus plus. It's a middle game without queens, and black has got so much development and open line. So that means queen d5 is just bad. Here, this queen d5 is bad. You have to play cd5 and go to the Benoni structure. So this sort of moves are dubious moves. Dubious. I will not interrupt the class. You see, suddenly I cannot go to Dutch and stop Benoni. I will show Ramakrishna lot of problem for Dutch. So only very few players play Dutch occasionally on top level. On top level, very few play occasionally. So not in this class. I will discuss another class. Okay, going to the next game. So Queen D5 will root out. Okay, normal. This is not the best way. A player should castle quickly. B2 castle or BD3 or S3 or BF4. So coming to punish. The point is once you go back, now there is a problem will come. The problem will come. Or I can also play here. If you go to bishop here, this is good move also. Now please note that immediately you should play knight h5. Benoni players, please note that this is compulsory. For example, suppose you play careless castle, white will be better. Why? He will never allow this move again. I will play knight. Now the bishop is good, and now you have time for this move, and you don't have. The position is already plus. After b2 castle, he will start open. Okay, this is bad. Now if you play this, this is not going to help. I will play this one. Now takes queen into. This is problem. Castle quickly, and now you don't have this inside weakness. So it is essential. It is essential that now you must play before the knight moves. You have to come to eliminate that. This one is compulsory. This is compulsory. And I will not take it. If you play the S3, I will take it. I will wait. So these are the problem of bishop going to H4. So he has to play bishop F4. Now bishop to G3, the same problem. So you have to play bishop. Right? You understand now the knight H5 will come. So goes. Why? Because if you go to D2, you have a problem. You have a problem. For example, suppose you go to D2, what can I do here? Now, castle immediately threat of knight e4 will come because immediately knight e4 and pin is coming. And if you play other move, then queen b6 can come, bishop g4 can come. There are a lot of problems. So this goes direct, clearly better. Now black has got at least 6 pieces against the white king. Apart from the queenside majority, a long term plus, he has got 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All active. Excepting the pawn, the knight into pawn e4 falls, and a bishop takes pawn also is not working. There are two threats. Knight into e4 is a threat. Knight into e4, the main threat. Bishop d2 is not going to work. Anyway, knight into pawn will come. So there is a lot of problems are coming. You now the pressure is coming. E4 and also this is hanging. So you have to play knight. Now the piece is getting trapped. Not trapped exactly, but it is bad. Knight d3 check is threatened. Rook d8 is threatened. Problem where the bishop will go. The problem is you have to go bishop to a4. Bishop a4, then there is a problem. There no pressure, knight will come to d3. Too many threats. Lot of problem is coming now. Now ng4 threat, knight into b2 threat. So you cannot allow. So he played in the game queen a4, but that is bad. It's a bad position. Black will get the pawn back with interest. So it defends. What else? You want to play rook to b1, then there will be tactical shots will come. The threat is coming 1, and threat is coming 2 here with the idea bishop to d4. This is also a threat. There is a lot of problems. So here he decided to play bishop to b5. Welcome to take my c2 pawn, c4 pawn. If you take c4 pawn, if you take this, I think knight into pawn should win the game. Because rook into, then bishop will come. And now you will further open up the position. You have to play some miserable move like this, or this is unthinkable. Some miserable move like this. It is bad. Just open up. Maybe rook b4 will come. Idea f5, bishop takes and rook takes. I want to drive the bishop from the long diagonal, giving lot of problem. This is giving problem for e4 pawn also problem. So he cannot play passively. After the move, knight coming, he played knight to e2. Now a6 is threatening. The rook is assured to enter now. Open the file. File and diagonal. It's all over. This is a dummy piece now. He are doing nothing. This is under pressure. The rook, two bishops, all are active. If you take, the rook is entering. If you take pawn into pawn, bishop s3 and rook into f3. If you take this, bishop s3, rook attack, then rook into f3, terrible. So he decided to play knight, takes. Now bishop f3 check. Over. Losing a material. King at g1 also would have been the same thing. Okay. What is the answer? Two games, Dutch, and the games went to play crazy wild. Okay, I don't know what talking going on. I will discuss the problem for Dutch. White gets a very easy game with a strategic play. But Dutch was good in Botvinnik era. Botvinnik era, Dutch was okay. But nowadays, Dutch has problem. So here, you can see this is lost. Check is coming. So, I will tell you, Tal playing Benoni, it suits his style. But there are some other players like Leonard Stein, like Fischer. Anything Fischer plays, that is a seal of approval. Now Fisher plays strategically sound position only. Fisher never gambled. So if Fisher adopted something, it is like he has given a seal that it is sound strategically. Now B3 Larson Opening was played by many. Larson won lot of games. He won many international playing B3 only. But when Fisher played it, then say it is great. Larson Opening is correct. So here Fisher started playing Benoni and a critical moment. 1972 match. Fisher crushed one after another opponent in the candidates. Interzonal, he won with a big margin. Very big margin. Some 3.5 point ahead of the second place winner. Interzonal. 1970 Palma de Mallorca. Palma de Mallorca. Then he won the candidates. Taimano 6-0, Larson 6-0, Petrosian 4.5, 2.5. Spassky, he lost the first game overstretching, unnecessary. Second game, he walk over, default, he lost. Two down, and he adopted modern Benoni and beat Spassky. Of course, it was a pure psychological duel, but adopting Benoni at a critical time. Such a critical time, two down in World Championship, and won the third game. Okay. So this was an interzonal. In interzonal Palma, so I mean he's adopted the sharp line because Gligoric was well versed in King's Indian. Gligoric was very good against King's Indian. Systematic pressure. This is the best line against the main line. Black's best setup. You cannot dislodge the knight. Abhi pawn f4, knight g4 will come with a threat. Here ng4 with a threat. With the e3 there is a problem. You have the problem here. How to solve e3? So you should not allow. That means you have to play. And s3 and then f4. That is also bad. Idea f4. I will discuss those problems. I will discuss how to handle in the game's introduction I will show. So here he plays queen. This is a typical Benoni move. Anchoring the knight. Number one, this knight is now anchored against this. Number two, I get a room to maneuver. Okay, take. Now h6. So consolidation. The idea is not to expand. The idea, I want to go freely. I don't want to be bothered with knight b5. This is always coming. The knight b5 will come to attack the point and also this point and this pawn. So you have to be very careful. The idea is a preventive move. And if possible, someday I can play. In a good day, I can play rook b8 and b5. You need to third attack. This is bad. You cannot dislodge the queen. Now the queen is coming actively. Now the queen is coming actively against this. Okay, other moves are not good, so he comes queen. Now f4. I want to collect the dark square bishop. This is actually quite impulsive and bad, trying to trap the queen. Idea, he wants to trap the queen. After pawn into knight, bishop c3, the queen is trapped. But I take it. Now immediately there is a threat here. So it takes and now there is a threat. There is a threat. There is a threat. Enough. Two pieces for the queen. Rook. It should win. Now two minor pieces for rook it is winning material. Open the game. Do not play b6 moves. The attack will come now. Now black will have king side attack. Idea now the bishop wants to come to a6. What else you will do? Comes check and it should win. Extra piece. But still note that he plays very actively. Fischer. With the idea queen coming to b2. Over. Because now if you defend, suppose queen d4 check will win. No, rook into rook will winning. There is no defense coming. This is just over. He resigns. Extra piece. So a very important victory in indoor journal, that too against a seasoned grandmaster, a player who was in top 10, Grigori. Havana Olympiad. No, for Ramakrishna, fourth man attack is not a problem. This is not Taimano variation is not a problem. So this is a standard line. I told you bishop into it is not good. Strategically, this is a bad move. Typical thing. Exchanging freeze black. Every minor piece exchange, black you will get better and better. First from the center. No, these are bad. You know, you push this piece, but too many weaknesses around. A typical mistake, strategic errors. Typical strategic errors. Now e4 point. There are so many weaknesses after f4. The weakness of black is no more. Black has already got 4 on this point, and now he will coordinate. Then white weakness cannot be repaired. That is 3-2. Already this has been assured. 1 plus. And now the file, the square, this square, and this. So you cannot free to play bishop c3. You need to protect. But then cannot free. Idea double. It is minus plus now. Winning material. Now there are so many threats. Now knight g4, knight b4 pawn, and with d5 weakness. A protected pass pawn has come, and this weakness, this squares, this file, नहीं चलेगा ये. He can defend it. He can defend. One or some threats will come. The queen into e1 threat. So queen with no time. So you come, everything defended. Defended. Very well played. All everything guarded and winning. So queen comes to h8, no problem. Consolidations over. So Fischer winded up, but notice that moves like f4 creates lot of problem. Strategically. Fischer's games I will show strategically very sound person. Now, basically, here, Ramakrishna, you are worried about this. You need not worry. After this, now bishop comes here. Now, nfd7. You have to play this. If you do not play, if you play normal move, when I play, you have to surrender the knight. Otherwise, b5 will come. This is why you have to play a4. a4. But when you play a4, now I can give a check. This is the more modern treatment. This is the one gives hard time to white. And now queen is 7. Now I am giving a threat, my friend. I am giving a threat. So you have to retreat. I have made now development. Now queen is 7. Even queen d8 is possible. Now you have to move like that. Because immediately I am giving a threat. So I will come to this in the when I am discussing theory. So you don't need to worry about this. You don't need to worry. So this is the modern treatment for this Taimano variation. So here he plays. This is not good. You can't take the c4 pawn anyway. The point is now if you play knight into e4 pawn falls. Bishop takes is not possible. Same thing. I will take and get my pawn. And if you castle, I get b5. And a6, queen b6 check. You can't take the pawn. Practically check is there, and black is already better. Oh, this is just passive and bad. No, this is just bad. Knight will come. The only problem is that when you play c4, such a move, when you play c4, the square is weak. That means when I play b5, for example, now here there is if the knight can enter here, then this is a vulnerable point. ये सब not मुमकिन नहीं है. All this is practically not easily available for white. But in this game, he played c4, bishop, and now knight. Still, you cannot play knight into c4, d5. सब कुछ set. Now it will not work. Black has end gaining. I am going to consolidate. ये तो आएगा, but don't push now, right? आएगा. Every exchange only getting better and better, better and better. You don't have to. Now this is a threat. He's giving. He's giving a threat. So no threat. Excellent. Now rook d8 and I'll pick up the d6 pawn. Player trying to complicate matter. He is looking for f7 point and some king side attack. If you play take and back rank. So you cannot take that. So you have to come. हो गया काम. End game is losing for not losing is bad, very bad position. I cannot say losing with so many pieces. It is minus plus. Otherwise you lose. हाँ जाता कहाँ है? क्वीन एक्सचेंज करके जाओ. हो गया. -2-1 majority and weak pawn. One pawn down and both the pawns are target. So if queen a8, then why knight f5? If queen a8, then why knight f5? Okay, I will go back to that game to your question. So this is lost. Pawn down, endgame is bad. So what we observed that here this sort of moves comes. When you play f4, you play here. This is bad. You have to play f4 right away. f4 bishop g7 check and fd7 right away. This is the line you should play. This is the line you should play. or you play f4, a4, then I give a check and come back. This is counterplay. All right. Now I will go back to the game. Fisher versus whom? He asked Fisher, Fisher Nasdar. Okay. Fisher versus Nasdar. कहाँ है Queen? When he played Queen h8, why Knight f5? एंड में Queen h8 आया. When he played Queen h8, why not this? कहाँ आया? When he played Queen h8 तो अभी आया. अभी ये आया Queen h8. Ng e7, Queen h8. Okay, you are asking why not Knight into f4? Knight f4. This is bad. Queen चला जाएगा. Queen चला जाएगा. Or you play is here. You mean to say why instead of Queen h8 now Knight into f5? Is this you are asking? This is bad. I think this is bad. This is bad. क्या करेंगे इसको? अब h7 को कैसा गार्ड करोगे? The point is here. If I play now, this is a threat, and now this is not possible. Is it possible? Queen coming. This is possible. What you mean to say makes some sense. What you say instead of Queen h8, you say Knight f5. खा जाएगा. I don't see any problem. खा जाएगा. Now I will defend. The knight will come back. Any kind of trick I will come back. I don't see any problem. So knight f5 is not possible. Okay. So not possible. Khush. Queen h8 is only correct. But after that everything defended. Okay. So this is Fisher Ullman. So bishop f4 is not a great line. The main idea, there is a problem there is giving Queen a4 check. Many variations. So we'll discuss. So s6. The cramping, the bishop has to do something with the bishop. So getting rid of the bishop and getting squares. These are the things. So s3 is a mistake. Mistake in the sense that after s3 knight into pawn, now pawn into will lose to bishop into. These are the typical Benoni tactics. Takes knight check, and this is falling. So you cannot take pawn into. And if you take knight into knight, then rook into knight, the bishop is attacked. Now, in the game, if you play knight into knight, then bishop f4 is attacked. And now you play, then you can just attack the e2 bishop. Now bishop into knight. Solving all problems, and then rook b4. Typical Tal's maneuver against Botvinnik. Now, the whole point is, this is not going to work. End of the initiative. Check and complete development. Black rank cleared. One extra pawn. One extra pawn. Not one, but two extra pawn. So the whole mistake, you can see a typical mistakes in Benoni, careless moves, H3. These are the mistakes, H3. Sudden move, I would say give this move question mark. The unexpected knight into E4 comes. Now I will show you some typical miniatures. Miniatures. Normally in chess, below 30 move is called a miniature. Normally. But nowadays, I think they have gone to 20 because of the development of, engines interference. Lot of tactical blows are seen. So the miniature means now they count 20. In my time, it was like 30. So let us say some miniatures. Benoni. I told you the problem PH4 already discussed. Now this is knight. If you want to play Ninjovich, basically, I think Frank Marshall. It was Frank Marshall who started this modern Benoni, and Nimzowitsch beat him convincingly. At this point, Nimzowitsch played ND2, idea NC4, and Marshall could not cope up, lost the game. I don't remember the year. Nimzowitsch was white and Marshall black, and Nimzowitsch started this game. So if you want to play, do it right now. This is immediately is better. But this is not dangerous. I am telling you, if at all white wants, you should go. Do not play ND2 after ninth move, 10th move, 11th move. It is bad. Now, this is bad. Where you are going to go now? Not good square. Of course, this is also possible. But, I mean, you have to worry later. Castle, I will think of F5, F4. This is rash and bad. Where are you going to place your king? आज तो खेल दिया कल कहाँ जाएगा what about your king's placement where you will go you want to do a loose castle a tempo he is going to suffer मार भी देगा भरोसा नहीं again the strategy every exchange black will get stronger and better knight into b3 is bad open the a line I open the a file you cannot take that pawn then b2 hanging you see taking the pawn queen check will come knight e4 third attack third attack will come. You take rook into and bishop. You cannot go. If you go bishop into c3, you will win. Take queen d2, you cannot play. So these are all terribly passive moves. Yeah, आएगा सब. So this is bad position. Maybe this move e3. Yeah, it is possible. It is possible to play because e3 I will play rb4. So these are all bad things. So in the game, you should not accept that pawn. b5. Now comes b4. Push from center. Now you cannot castle. Can castle, but at the cost of material. This is terrible. Terrible position. E2 mate, so I will play. Lost. Pawn down, and it is bad. Then just simply bishop coming to b5, a6, bs6, bd7, bb5. Horrible. Okay. So where is the mistake has come? This is the mistake. After the move, g4 is a mistake. Okay. So I'm going to the next one. Normally, four pawn attack will transpose to Benoni structure. Now, this is a safe approach, not pushing the pawn. This will allow a Benoni structure. E6 and take. White can play bishop e2 and get a little better game, plus equal. Now, black should take pawn into pawn, knight into pawn, knight c6. Now, we will play a structure like Markov type of position, and now you can play bishop g4. This is the best way to equality. Now you can play knight into knight and knight into. I will also take bishop into bishop into. Now you play knight into, now bishop into. And now knight into. This is not good move. Not a good move. Right? Bishop into he has played. Now here can play knight into. And now bishop into. So it is not a good idea to play some move like knight. Black is getting castled and more coordination. So it is simple. After bishop g4, the game is equal. For example, this is best way to play for equality. But instead, if white is more ambitious, he should push the pawn and then Benoni will come. Here, this Benoni will come, e6. Now bishop g5, g4. You can also play pawn b5. You can also play this move. Now bishop into pawn, knight into pawn. Okay, this is also possible. But the point is what happens here, he can take, and now if you give check, he may play queen. Then you can take this also. Please note these are the things. So you need to worry about it all. So instead of playing all these things, b5, here you play simple. Now, coordinator, I am going to get rid. No more cramp. Establishing coordination, I am watching e5 point. Here everything is okay. Now white plays a bad. These are the typical errors against Benoni. These are the problems. After move, he plays knight into e4. Idea, now the bishop is hanging. I will take and pick up the bishop. So you take. Now all these are bad. If you play all these things is bad. Queen will come, bishop will come to f5. So these are bad. Minus plus. Not only a pawn, the b2 pawn in danger, e5 square. ये तो गया. So typical errors. S3 is a self goal. Here, this is S3 is a self goal. ND2 as possible. Okay, I'll leave this. Typical errors. Typical errors of white against Benoni. Tactical errors. Okay, bishop coming here. I told you the simple strategy. Every exchange of minor piece, black gets more and more comfortable. The queen side majority and open lines will give him better opportunity. Unexpected. So these are the things he should take into account. Now The bishop gets a new life. No more cram. No easy plan available for white now. And at black's disposal, he just need to complete development and start f5. E4 is not coming. It's blunder. Actually, e4 is not coming. He just hand move. He touched and bishop and knight will pick up. Just take and winning. Rook into pawn. I will play. No, bishop into pawn. So it is just bad move. Typical errors. G5. Tactical shots in Benoni. Classical Benoni. You know, his idea is to push the bishop on G5. So these are bad. This kind of tactics normally it works, but not all positions. Here it backfires. Already 2-1 majority. The C3 knight is indirectly attacked. Problem. Now you push E4, a pin is coming. This is a hard time now. Bad move. We should know what are the problems in such positions. Benoni player should always notice this kind of mistakes by white. What is the wrong? What is wrong with him? Can somebody tell me? I'm asking. Can somebody tell me what is wrong? Why S3 is a mistake? No sacrifice. It is a tactical mistake. No sacrifice. This point you see the tactical problem. Knight attack. C3 knight. You cannot move the knight. You will have additional problem on E4 pawn. And now G5. One piece is lost. Piece is lost now. These are the problems. After the move retreat, after the move, if you come here, a double attack will come. Double attack. This is the point. So, naive looking, very innocent looking move. Bishop G4, he said pin. He said no pin. What do you mean no pin? सीधा एक मटेरियल गॉन. क्वीन से मारेंगे तो भी जाएगा. क्वीन से मारने से भी जाएगा. Okay. So these are typical errors a white player should avoid. Okay. One more game I want to say. Normal standard move. There is nothing wrong with the idea. He wants to play F3, NC4, BF4, etc. If you will play knight to C4, knight B6 is a good answer. This is good. So this is not correct to play here. The anchoring the knight. So typical Benoni moves. I want to bring the knight without having fear of F4 and knight also get a square. The point is You material block white will get material. Now here this is he plays not good. Idea is attacking pawn. You take the pawn, he will take. But I told you when the game opens more and more, black gets better and better, better and better. Knight into. You have to recover the pawn. Now if you play knight into, I am going to play some move like rook with the idea trying to hit. I want to provoke some weakness. Maybe I will play. Maybe rook b4. Maybe rook b4 is better. B4, rook f4. Okay, I think maybe rook h4 I'll play first. This is okay. This is coming. I think rook b4 only. Yeah, rook b4 is good. Rook b4 is good. So in the game, he played rook into knight rook there. Now knight e5. What is wrong with knight f5? What is wrong here? Okay, he did not take that pawn. Now rook. I am this knight is not returning. ये knight अभी चारों तरफ घेर गया है. No, cannot return. What about this piece? Lost. After he plays bishop takes pawn, he will play rook into, and this is gone. So these are the problems that you should not open up the game. The idea, whole concept of NC4, this this is a bad. Okay, I would say this ND2 plan is bad if you are not playing on the 7th. Okay, I will go to the next one or two more. Benoni, going like tall type, knight b4 and all. Typical error. Typical error. The idea now you take pawn into bishop c3 will pick up the piece back. So and knight into will another knight is replacing. So pawn into bishop into c3 and rook into e2. So the game has opened up. Yeah. Typical mistakes. So bishop g5. Now even if you know, even if you are here, the theoretical this is still possible. You may play push, you may play knight e2, you may take and exchange queen. You may even take the pawn and counterplay will be there. I will discuss this. Take queen exchange. So in the position here, he plays bishop. The idea is to stop the n5 entry anytime. So black is giving a typical threat, a positional threat. You know what is the positional threat? He wants to play the move h6, and when you take it, knight into pawn and queen check and pick up the bishop. For example, if you play like this, now I can play directly knight into pawn and then queen check and take it. So he plays b8, which is bad. His dream, what is dreaming? White's dream, he wants to play pawn push, then knight coming here. These are the dream he is watching. Okay. इतना टाइम नहीं है कि बैठ के तारे गिना करेगा. Minus plus. The position is very passive for white. Okay, another blunder. This is a typical error he is doing. The rook is unprotected. He is worried. He is worried that pawn b3 will come, then knight d3, queen c5 check. He is worried that pawn here, knight d3 is coming. He stops that. But then b4. The rook is hanging. Not this. This will not get anywhere. If you play, then knight will go and now rook will come with a better game. The square is weak. You cannot take it. So not falling for that, but excellent move. Rook attacked, bishop attacked, idea winning a piece. Now queen exchange is bad, losing material. So winning. Piece chala gaya. Now losing a piece. So these are the typical errors white players should not commit. Okay. Piece chala gaya. अभी you go somewhere here, knight into here. क्या करेंगे अभी? पीस कैसा जाएगा? Just b4. ये काफी है. काफी. Okay. So various positions I discussed, showing you the problem for white, but actually you should not take it for granted that black is good. I am showing you the mistakes of white, how to play correctly white. I will give you some introduction of white games. So in the afternoon session, I will go on systematic theoretically. White, I recommend. No, I will show the game of Kasparov and Nunn. Dr. John Nunn was very sharp player. Actually, John Nunn wrote a book on modern Benoni. There are a lot of good players. John Nunn, Lev Sakis has written a book on Benoni. Good books, very good books. Modern Benoni, I think books of Sakis is very good. John Nunn's book is good. John Nunn said that he played 7 games. He lost Benoni only 7, 8 games. Other games he won. And whom he lost? He lost to Kasparov. He lost to Miles. He lost to, those players are established grandmasters. So even if you don't play Benoni, not that you would have won with other things. So losing to such players is not a very big thing that Benoni is bad. So he recommended Benoni, and I also recommend to you Benko and Benoni is a fantastic repertoire. And Kings Indian. If you should a Kings Indian player should play Kings Indian, Benko, Benoni, and you add to that Blumenfeld gambit. So this is Kasparov is white and Nunn black. He plays the Taimano variation. Arey no, not this. Not this, Baba. This also maybe the earlier one. This is a maybe. Yeah. This is the Taimano variation or Mikana's variation, they say. It is a real test for Benoni players. Check. Only move. Other moves are just bad. I told you the idea. Otherwise, if you play normal move, knight a6, b5 will come. So here, I think I'm not approving this sort of move. The queen check is correct. Queen check. Now queen back. You get time. Mainly, you are watching e5. The idea is not for the pawn. That mainly you are stopping the e5. So now this gives counterplay. Okay, I will go back to the actual game. Right. Actually, two back moves are wasted. What? What is the idea of the move? That someday the knight will come to enter the square. One. And knight is not allowing the bishop go to d3 because bishop will go to d3 controlling center. But it is it is doing at the moment no threat to. So two moves are wasted. So these two moves can be vital. Now time is important. White wants to make use of this pawn center. He wants to do this, attack. So no need to play passively. Pardon. So white has castle should go. Taking the pawn is bad. If you take the pawn, then it is bad because maybe here you can play move like what I can do, how I can punish this one. I guess bishop g5 is good enough. If you play queen, I will play a5, pawn a5. And if you play queen c7, maybe I will play knight h4. Idea knight will enter. The pieces will come more and more forward. So it's not a good idea to take. So he plays in the game castle. Now white is all fully developed. Other moves are bad. Unfortunately, bishop f6 is bad. Defend. Now again showing knight come. Bishop takes pawn. Look into knight f5 plus minus. Knight reaches to the heart of dark's camp. Knight f5 with so many threats will come. So cannot take queen d5 tactical shot. It should be over. Now c5 threatened. Now this queen g4 is coming. So queen g4 is coming. Idea knight h6. Idea c5. So he comes here. He resigned because after this he loses material. Takes and exchange down minimum exchange down. Horrible position. So the mistake is the lethargical knight a6 and knight b4. These are the culprit moves. I not recommended like this. I would recommend check and then go back. It's not easy. It's not easy. See, in Benoni there are problems. For example, let us say, uh, let us say this game, Panchanathan. Mahesh Chandran, Grandmaster from Chennai, now settled in USA. It is Panchanathan. Yeah. These are the typical problems. Classical Benoni. Center. So these are the problems. You should not retreat. ND to NC4 is too slow and gives a free hand to black. Now NC4, NE5 will come. Stopping the maneuver, knight G4 and now preparing E4 and all. Now F4 is not allowed. Now what are you going to do? You can't play G4. You cannot play F4. Seizing, preparing even move like F5 sometime. F4. Okay, what else? Knight to knight is bad. E5 is bad. So, and black has taken the initiative. It is not so brilliant because five pieces are in attack. After the sacrifice, black will have five pieces in attack. Okay, if you take a knight into knight also will not solve the problem. If you play knight into knight, it will not solve the problem. Maybe here I can play I can play rook into pawn into I can play queen h4. Even now bishop into pawn also is working. This is also working. The knight is attacked and you accept the king is completely weak. The king's situation is totally weak. Now queen is come. Four pieces in attack. Knight, rook, queen and bishop with a weak king. So this is also dangerous. So in the game, when bishop takes pawn, he decided to take pawn in. The knight wants to hurry up to f3. Knight is hurrying up to f3 for defense. To meet queen h4 with knight f3. Idea, if you play queen h4, knight f3. But knight g3. What a move. He cannot accept that. He cannot accept. After accept, knight e3 and pawn into and queen h4. Game over. So he plays knight, but queen h4. Hardly any defense. Over. So these are the problem the white players face that you should not take lightly. अगर आपको ND2 खेलना है तो इधर ही खेलो like Nimzowitsch Marshall. This is not a dangerous thing. I will come to these theoretical aspects. For example, ND2. For example, I will play here bishop f4, then bishop g5. So all these tricky moves I will show in the theoretical class will session I will start in the afternoon. So this is not a problem. Crushing victory for black. See other moves also I will show you. Yes, I am running out of time. So maybe I will continue for black in the afternoon session, some more introduction games, and then I will take you to white. Then I will take you to theory. Okay, friends. So see you back again at 2:30. तब तक सबको मेरा नमस्कार. Take care and bye. The positional threat same as happened announced under 20 games. Yeah. You are right, Virabhadra.